now moving on to the news. Tell us about the news.
Yes, well, this is an article from CNN. And it's about, basically, Nintendo has learned... let's start. Headline is, Nintendo exec says, failed Wii U is responsible for the Switch's success. And the gist of it is that Reggie made a statement. And he said, we worked hard for the Nintendo Switch to make it crystal clear what the proposition is. It's a home system that you can take on the go, play anywhere with anyone, and that's resonating. So basically, he's saying that they learned from, with the Wii U, the problem is advertising it. Like, nobody got it. Nobody understood what it was. But with the Switch, they really focused on what is the console supposed to do and what is the appeal, and advertise that properly. And so the downfall of the Wii U, I would say, is like the lack of... Well, there's a number of reasons, really. I can't just point to one thing. But as much as I still use it, and I love my Wii U, but it was, from a business perspective, especially, a failed console. And, Nintendo's actually learned from that mistake and listened to people and listened to the fans and listened to the numbers, and they've addressed those issues. And so he goes on to say, we've addressed that with the Nintendo Switch. Having a steady pace of new launches is critical. Switch includes games like Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Other issues with the Wii U was that it didn't have strong support from third parties. So he says, whether it's big companies like EA or whether it's small independent developers, we need those companies to create content to help support us. We have that now with Nintendo Switch. And the Wii U notoriously had very poor third-party support. So it's refreshing to read this, and I've definitely seen it firsthand, like going in, like the Switch is way more popular and way more. I have friends who are not even gamers that want to get the Switch. I have people who are gamers who fell off the Nintendo bandwagon after actually a person I know, the last Nintendo console he was into was the GameCube, mostly for Melee, and he just had no interest in Nintendo after that. He got a 360, then he got a PS4. Now he wants a Switch because the appeal of it doesn't feel janky and gimmicky too much. It feels like a strong console with a strong appeal, and that is conveyed well, and also with great looking games. So yeah, that's my spiel. What do you think, Jesse, about all this news?
I think the great news here is that his statement where he talks about they expect to sell 14 million Nintendo Switches before the end of the year for March 2018, which the physical year, whatever. Obviously, the Switch launched in March 2017, and they're expecting 14 million units before the year after launch. And in the entire lifespan of the Wii U, which we talked about this a little bit before we started the podcast, the Wii U sold a total of around 13 million units since its launch. And Nintendo's expecting the Switch to sell 1 million more than the entire lifetime of the Wii U within the Switch's first year. And then we recently... there's a statement a few weeks ago where Nintendo mentioned they were going to be, or someone mentioned Nintendo was going to be doubling the production of Nintendo Switch consoles for 2018.
Good.
And before the end of the year in 2018, or maybe it's March 2019, they're expecting to have 30 to 40 million Nintendo Switches sold, which would be a little bit better than the Nintendo 3DS at that point in time. So they're expecting it to sell like maybe 10% better than the Nintendo 3DS. So that's really interesting. And especially if they come out with like a new Switch or like a Switch Mini, Switch XL or whatever. So...
yeah, and it makes sense because the Switch has this advantage of tapping into both markets, basically, like both the portable market as well as the home console market. It's this very unique advantage that the Switch has over the Wii U and the 3DS, which I own all three of, but if I had,
Do you remember
if I was
Nintendo's
just a
statement on the Switch was going to be a third pillar alongside the Wii U?
Yeah, no, it's a successor. Because like there's no, they're not going to release new Wii U games. There's no reason to. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. And
there are still indie developers releasing on the Wii U eShop, so that's interesting.
That is interesting, but I haven't even been on the Wii U eShop since the Switch came out. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's BS. It's like that's just Reggie talking out of his butt again about having the three of them. I can see like the 3DS is still going strong. The 3DS has a huge install base, and they're still making 3DS games. Like Samus Returns was a huge game for the 3DS, which is also an amazing game, by the way. If you guys haven't played it, please go do it. It's so good. But I just really want Metroid to do well as a series. Sorry. But the Wii U, there's been nothing other than those little indie games, right?
Right.
And the Shovel Knight update, which is also an indie game, really. But like, it doesn't matter which version of Shovel Knight you get. It's all versions that get that update anyway. So yeah, and Breath of the Wild, I think the only reason, like, because Yooka-Laylee got pushed out of the Wii U onto Switch, right? Or not even on Switch. There's no Switch version yet, is there?
Yeah, it was supposed to be on Wii U, and then they canceled
ended up moving it off of.
Like, there's the Switch version, but then, like, they said it was going to be like 1 month after the Switch release.
Has it even come out?
No, not yet. It was supposed to release like a month or two ago, like in April and May, I believe, was when it was supposed to release. But then which even on the Xbox One, I remember a lot of the reviews said that they had issues.
It's pretty lukewarm reviews.
Yeah, like they had issues with bugs and glitches and stuff on the Xbox One with Yooka-Laylee. So I can imagine the Nintendo Switch, which is like half as powerful, if that would have tons of problems with Yooka-Laylee.
But I think the only reason that Breath of the Wild still got a Wii U release was because they had already promised it.
Yeah.
I think that if they hadn't been hyping this game up for years or advertising it, that
as
it would have just been
Wii U.
as like this is our big Wii U blockbuster game. Zelda Wii U is coming in 2015. Don't worry, guys. Like, if they hadn't been hyping it up for years, there's no reason to have released it on the Wii U.
Yeah. Even
there's no point.
Mario Odyssey, I believe that was even a Wii U game.
It must have started as a Wii U game.
Yeah.
I believe that.
And then they were just like, well, we haven't announced it for the Wii U yet. So instead of doing it like Breath of the Wild, we could just move it over to the Switch, which is
and push it as a system seller.
Yeah, because there was an interview a long time ago where Miyamoto was asked about the next big Mario game. He talked about Pikmin 4, Mario Galaxy 3.
Please tell me Hey Pikmin. Please tell me there's a real Pikmin 4 and not just Hey Pikmin.
And when he was asked about Super Mario Galaxy 3, which he even called it Super Mario Galaxy 3, maybe like that's what it started out as.
Maybe, but there's none, like the whole gravity mechanics aren't there, and there's like it has, I don't know, I think it's different enough that I wouldn't call it that, but
but he said that could have been like the idea that it started out as is like, since the first two did so well, they were like, hey, let's just take the engine and make another.
You almost kind of have like a 3D Mario series, you know, like that's like 64, Sunshine, Galaxy 1 and 2, and now Odyssey.
Yeah,
I'm not counting 3D World there. I think 3D World more falls in line as like a 2D Mario game.
Yeah.
But it's a 2D Mario game that happens to also be 3D.
Yeah, like A Link Between Worlds.
Yeah.
Like, A Link Between Worlds is a 2D Zelda game, but it has 3D
Zelda
models and everything else.
Yeah. So, I mean, the Z-axis is there, or Z or Z, depending on where in the world you live. The Z-axis is there, but it's like...
Okay, really quick, you don't know how many...
We talked about this.
You don't know how many comments I've gotten on like some of the videos that you've edited where it says honorable mentions and it has like a U in it.
Oh, then there's like a which in it? Oh, with the U in the honor. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
guys. I'm Canadian. That's just
Yeah.
how we spell it.
Like there's been so many comments that were just like they put honor with like a star beside
like
it saying
correcting
like
its spelling.
yeah, like trying
Okay.
to correct us, and it's like you
If
do
you're-
know like if you're in the UK or parts of Canada or wherever like there's
Like if you're in the U.S., that's correct, but literally everywhere else in the world, that's
there's, like,
not.
favorites.
It's just not.
Yeah, there's,
Favorite,
like,
color, neighbor. Yeah, no, just like so sorry. Like I don't even think about it. I just like that's just how I always spelt it.
yeah.
So anyway, I'm glad at least you're aware of this. Jesse.
Yeah, I always like I have the same message that I type out where it's like, well, you do know that in other places like different words have different spellings. But
Yeah.
anyways, there was the interview a while back where Miyamoto was talking about Mario Galaxy 3, that it was in development, but he didn't know what console that it was going to be released for. There's a similar statement that I made in a video we posted recently about like the top 5 more canceled Mario games, where he's talking about Super Mario 128, which was a demo that was shown off for the GameCube. He said that in one of the interviews he said that they were experimenting on the GameCube, the Nintendo DS, and other platforms. At the time, the Nintendo Wii wasn't announced yet, so we couldn't say we're working on it for the GameCube, the Wii, and the DS.
Yeah.
Because it was
the revolution.
Yeah. Because
damn, they should have kept that name. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
But
so with this interview, obviously they couldn't have said Switch because it wasn't announced yet. But he said that he wasn't aware, like they didn't know what platform it would end up on. But he said that they were working on the Galaxy 3 or whatever it was, the next big Mario game. And he said they were working on something for the Wii U, but he didn't know if it would wind up on the 3DS or another platform, which was, again, him hinting at a third platform. And then the third platform ends up being the Switch. So, seems like they just moved all of the big Wii U games that they were working on over to the Switch, which was a smart move. Because they've already, like, some of the big games that came out for the Wii U, they're already porting them over to the Switch. So it's like, even if these games did release on the Wii U, they would eventually find their way on the Switch anyways.
And there are people, now I've heard this complaint is people saying like, okay, well, if they're just moving all these Wii U games over to, that were Wii U exclusives, there's no incentive to have a Wii U anymore. And now Wii U owners, it's bad for them. But here's the thing, and as a Wii U owner, I'm going to just say that's a really dumb argument. And don't you want to support this company, have them do well? It doesn't make sense. The Wii U is a console from 2012 it's over. Console generations happen, right? And from a business perspective, it makes sense for them to recoup some of that development costs and move it over to the Switch. And then you expand your audience as well by having people who didn't get the chance to play whatever game on the Wii U say that Mario Kart 8 is a great game. Why wouldn't you want more people playing that? So if you can have the opportunity to have more people play it on your new install base, and
it's not even the Switch. Not only have they moved some of the Wii U games to the Switch, but they've also moved some of the Wii U games to the 3DS.
To the 3DS, that's right. Like I have both versions of Yoshi's Woolly World because I just really love that game. I've talked about it on previous podcasts, but it's a great, very well designed platformer.
Yeah, and then Hyrule Warriors was another big one.
Yep. But yeah, so I mean, it's good for them. It's good for business. And at the end of the day, they are still a business that needs to. I mean, they could survive financially because I know that they've got stacks of cash hidden away, but figuratively, stacks of cash. But they need to continue to build that strong support, and the Switches they're in, guys. Get with it if you can find one in a store. Actually, are Switch stock issues still a problem? Because I've seen them in stock now, but when they first released, you couldn't find it anywhere. And I would have people talking to me I mentioned this actually on the Nintendo Prime podcast a while back, but we were talking about the good things about the Switch, and I said the stock issue is something I really want to see fixed, because I'll be playing the Switch and I'll be out, and I've had people come and ask me about it, and they're like, how is it? Is it good? Should I get one? And I'm like, yes, it's awesome, but you can't get one because they're nowhere.
Yeah, I don't think it's a huge issue.
Okay.
I noticed like there have been times, like last month I believe, or maybe it was the month before, I was going to buy another Joy-Con for my Nintendo Switch because my left Joy-Con had broken. I had the one I got was like the yellow Joy-Con that came with arms. There was one used at GameStop, so I just bought it instead of like a standard gray one. But when I was at GameStop, I asked them if they had another Switch, because instead of paying the $40-$50, however much the Joy-Con was, I was just like, well, I have the extra money, so what if I just bought another Switch? And then I had it for my little brother to play, and then I had my Switch, and then not only would I just get the one Joy-Con, but I would have the 2 extra Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
Because if you're buying 2 Joy-Cons, it's like $80 or something like that.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, no, it is, because I have extra Joy-Cons as well.
Yeah, so in my head I was thinking, instead of paying $80 for just 2 Joy-Cons, what if I just put the extra $200 with it and bought another entirely new Switch?
The only issue is then you can't do like 2-player games where you both use a Switch.
Right.
But then I mean, what is there to do that with Splatoon? Then you need 2 copies of the game as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it makes sense. But you didn't end up getting that second Switch?
No, I just got the Joy-Con. But when I was there, they had one Nintendo Switch left in stock. I would have got it if it was, what was it? They just had the standard gray in stock, which is what I already have. If they would have had the one with the red and the blue, or like a special edition for Mario Kart or Splatoon or whatever, then I would have went ahead and bought it. But since it was the same colored Joy-Cons, I was like, never mind.
Nah.
But I walked over from GameStop because it was beside a Walmart, and I went into Walmart and they were full of Nintendo Switches. But I think that was like literally the day that they put everything in stock, which is why both GameStop and Walmart both had Nintendo Switches. So
let me just say, it's great walking into a store when they've just put stock out.
Yeah.
Like I walked into an EB, which is what we have instead of GameStop.
Yeah.
And,
we used to have EB games here. I remember the local mall to where the one that I always go to. Actually, one that I used to work at, the GameStop there. But there was the EB Games was upstairs, like literally right above where the GameStop was, downstairs. And then the EB Games had the smaller floor, and then the GameStop downstairs had the larger floor with like more space and everything. And then they both changed to just GameStop. And then
I think GameStop owns CB though.
Yeah, and then a few years later, the GameStop downstairs that had the bigger floor ended up closing out, and now it's just the one GameStop that was upstairs, which is the one that I worked in. But I remember thinking, like, why is there two EB Games, like 2 GameStops right beside each other?
Yeah, that makes very little sense.
Yeah. But anyways, you were saying something.
Oh yeah, sorry. Just like one time when I got the there was one time I walked into EB and just like they had a bunch of Breath of the Wild amiibo back in stock that had been sold out for so long, and it was like, I asked them, I was like, when did you get these? They're like, today. And I was like, that's amazing, I'm buying them. And then I bought I was only missing 2 of them, so I bought Zelda and the Guardian amiibo. And then like the next day, everywhere I looked, they were out of stock again. So I was like, oh, it was good. I got there when I could. Yeah. Yeah. I love my amiibo. I guess if you're watching the video version of them, you can see how I've got piles of them behind me. But I have close to 50 now, and I just got my pre-order went through. I'm so excited. I got all the champion ones. I'm so happy.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I guess we're done with all of the news. So we're ready to move on to the questions?
Yes.
All right. And did you look in the comments of the last video for the questions? Or are these all from...
Did not find any good questions on there. So, no, I posted 2. So we have 2 from the YouTube and then 3 from Discord.
Okay.
And then we're good. So yeah, I guess I'll start off on YouTube.
Are we getting too many Switch games all at once? Should they be more spread out? Or is it alright?
Alright.
What sort of third-party title? I'm just looking over the questions really quick. You love to see.
Okay, sure. So this one comes from Zombies Assassin on YouTube.
We have to do the intro for the...
Oh yeah, we do.
Shop. Yeah.
You're right.
That way we're not just answering questions. We need to let them know that they can
So this
send
is
in
our
their
segment.
questions.
It's our segment.
I'll do the
you can start it
intro
off.
for this. All right.
The videos on this channel are funded by supporters on Patreon like you. If you're a fan of this channel and would like to join on videos, receive shoutouts, watch videos early, have your questions answered, or have your topic discussed on our podcast, please consider supporting on Patreon for these and many other rewards for just $1. Shoutouts for this video includes Link Use the Triforce, Rusty Caulfield, Lovable Christie, Give Time 15, Shadow to Us, Robbie Morgan, and Lunarium. I want to thank all of you for everything you have done to help support this channel.